What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and we're going to kind of crack on and get straight into it because we've got quite a few battles to get to. So Charcadet got released in the last week or so in Pokemon Go, and I was thinking about both Armarouge and Ceruledge and which one to evolve and whatnot, but I hatched more than one. And I was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to build both, and I'm going to try out both of them on separate teams in the Ultra League and see which one I think is better. I don't want to put them both on the same team because one's Fire Psychic, one's Fire Ghost, and there's a strong water meta right now. I don't think that fire types combined are going to have a brilliant time in this meta in general. So I thought separate and build a separate team around each one because I think that their ideal pairings are a little bit different, and let you guys know what my thoughts are on which one of these you want to build if, let's say, you've only got one Charcadet but you'd really want to use one of these things. So, without any further ado, let's just jump straight into the first matchup that we've got. So we're running Armarouge, first of all, on a team, and we're pairing it up with both Tapu Fini and Giratina, and this is specifically a Dragon Breath Giratina, just so that like a Dark type on the lead isn't going to be as devastating for the team overall. So, they swap out into Poliwrath, which I don't know if they knew we had access to Psyshock, but it does hit them for a nice big chunk of damage, which really means that we can definitely get switch advantage here. We're not super stressed about switch advantage because Ampharos, I mean, Brutal Swing adds up against Giratina, but also your fast moves and charge moves add up pretty quick. It's a very neutral matchup. And we're just curious if they've got a hard answer for Armarouge in the back. So we throw a Psyshock because big damage, and then it just means that we can very comfortably get switch advantage because Tapu Fini, it looks like it should be a hard answer to Poliwrath, but it's not, because you've got to get to those Moonblasts, which are quite a lot of energy, and that can really put you on the back foot. Like, they start racking up those debuffs, they decide to commit a shield, actually shield up a Moonblast, you're going to start having a bad time, and they can quite easily take switch advantage away from you. So, we lined up the Ampharos with Armarouge again. We decided to see if we can take a Thunder Punch. We can. Just going to go for a Flame Charge here. Either move's fine, we'll take them out. We get the shield. Very nice. Are they pressured to throw? They are. We're going to let this go. Armarouge has done a decent amount of work here. Did a nice big chunk of damage to the Poliwrath. Nice big amount of damage to the Ampharos. And there's a Talonflame in the back, so we're looking very good with our Giratina. No, we don't have Ancient Power, which would definitely cement this a little bit better for us. But Dragon Claw's fine. Shadow Sneak's fine. I think for this particular team combo, I think running Dragon Claw and Shadow Sneak is the way to go. I mean, you could run Shadow Force instead of Shadow Sneak if you really want, but it's a lot of energy to commit if they do decide to shield up. So, coming with Giratina, just throw these Dragon Claws, like, we're completely fine here. It might be a little close if they land like another fly, but it won't be enough to take us out. Do we show this up? Yeah, might as well. I suppose if this is a Flame Charge and they get a fly, it might be scary, but they just don't have that energy. Ampharos comes in, tries to catch, they mess it up. No worries, Dragon Claw's going to take him out, and we're going to take the win, and that's going to be a GG in game one. Now, it was tough to build teams around these because quite a lot of things in the Ultra League have answers to Psychic and to Ghost because of Giratina and Cresselia and other picks like that that really mean that teams have to have an answer ready for those typings already. So it can be pretty tough. This next matchup, we've got Gliscor on the lead, and that's kind of scary, but also we didn't want to... I should have let the Night Slash through just to see how hard it hit, because I don't think it'd take us out, but these two Pokemon, Armarouge and Ceruledge, are a little bit squishy. This opponent's going to swap out into Tentacruel. We're just going to go for Psyshock. Sorry, not Psyshock. And just do a nice, either big chunk of damage or get a shield. We get a shield out of him, that's completely fine. Swap out into Giratina just because we're resisting the... We get Blizzarded! Ah! Jeez, okay, well, we're still alive, that's fine, as long as we don't get Acid Sprayed first, I guess it's alright. I'll go to Giratina's pretty safe to bring into Tentacruel, because most of them are running Acid Spray and Scald, but this one's running Blizzard, so what are you going to do? Doesn't matter, we would just have got switch advantage, but I believe they swap at this moment to actually catch the Dragon Claw. No, they don't, we get him with the Dragon Claw, we take him out. We still get switch advantage despite taking a Blizzard, because Giratina is just that bulky. Poliwrath comes in, and we're looking pretty good here. We think we might bring in the Armarouge, actually. No, bring in Tapu Fini, it's fine. We're a bit cautious. Thing is, the Scald, they have a head on energy, and the Scald is just going to take out Armarouge. We don't want to feel pressured to shield quite as quickly, although Tapu Fini technically has the best matchup for the rest of this game because there's Poliwrath and there's Gliscor, so Tapu Fini is rubbing the hands together, really. But we're just gonna play this out a little bit, see if they get a debuff on us. If they do, we'll probably swap. Yeah, we'll swap here into Armarouge, because all we need to do is land a Psyshock here to take them out. Shield up the Gliscor should not be at a Night Slash to take us out. We do shield up an Icy Wind. That wouldn't have taken us out, but would have got us pretty low. Land the Psyshock on the Poliwrath, pretty much finish them off. Gliscor's here. If they don't throw immediately, we'll just get to another move. And not take them out, but do big damage to them. But this means that we can definitely get to... Nope. No, it doesn't. We misjudged this. We should Throne that Surf straight away. Gliscor gets to charge moves very, very fast in general. In the Ultra League, you've got to not sleep on that thing. It gets there so quick. Right. Big problem for both these Pokemon, Armarouge and Ceruledge. They don't want to see Feraligatr, because Feraligatr access to Shadow Claw. I mean, I'm super happy for Feraligatr getting some use in PvP. At the early days of Ultra League, I tried to make it work and it just didn't, because it just doesn't add up in the same way that like Swampert or Empoleon does. It's not got the same advantages. But now it's got Shadow Claw. It's incredibly fast to get to these charge moves, and Shadow Claw is a nice versatile move for damage on pretty much anything that's not, you know, dark or normal. So we're going to swap into Tapu Fini. They're going to stay in with us here, which is a little bit awkward. But we just found down with Giratina, and we hope Armarouge has a good matchup in the back. We're just going to see. So, whenever the opponent, they bring in their own Giratina. Okay, better to see it here than on Armarouge, because the Shadow Claws would add up. Like I said, they are quite squishy, so we'll be feeling a little bit more pressured. There's an Annihilate in the back. So we're bringing Armarouge here. That's a good shout, because, yeah, we have to worry about Shadow Ball. It would absolutely ruin his day, so we're going to shield up. It is a Shadow Ball. Very nice shield for us there. But it just means that we're double resisting those counters, so they're not adding up against us, which is going to make a big difference overall. Not double resisting, sorry. Did I say double resisting? Single resisting anyway, these counters. And the Psyshocks, you get to them so fast. Like, you get, you know, it's 3 Incinerates and then it's 2 Incinerates, and that just starts adding up really fast. Like, it very much gets out of control quickly. They catch a Psyshock on Giratina. That's fine. It's still going to do a nice big chunk of damage because, like I said, in an energy efficient move, we can bring in our Giratina and start throwing this energy at them to pressure getting them out of here. Now, should we have thrown? No, we shouldn't have thrown, because we'll survive this. We Dragon Breath them down, and then we've got a Shadow Sneak to throw at the Annihilate, which will finish them off. So this should be GG's, maybe, we hope. Like, yeah, we get the GG. All right, battle number 4. Let's go. Gengar on the lead, pretty unusual for the Ultra League, but it's not as bad as you might think, because yes, we're taking super effective from the Shadow Claws, and we do have to shield up the Shadow Punch because it's Gengar, it's so attack weighted to do big damage. That means we can force a shield here with the Flame Charge. No need to throw the Psyshock, because Gengar's pretty squishy to take him out. And we're going to shield this up and farm them down. So yeah, we're giving up both shields right at the start, but honestly both Tapu and Giratina have decent bulk, so that's not too bad. We come out of this matchup with energy. The Charizard comes in, so we're going to go for Psyshock, and we might have 2 loaded here, maybe just shy of 2 loaded. But we're going to swap out to Tapu Fini after landing that move, just to see what's in the back and see if we've got some other targets for that energy. And we pull a Venusaur out, which it's kind of rough, because like, we're just going to take, you know, Venusaur really does wall Tapu Fini. We land a Moonblast though, which is very nice. We've still got Giratina, which can deal very much with Venusaur and with Charizard. I think we're going to probably come in with Giratina though, and just keep that Psyshock banked. We want to Dragon Breath down this Venusaur potentially, and then just throw a Dragon Claw and whatever charge move we had left on Armarouge at the Charizard, just to force it through to take them out, since they do still have a shield that they're hanging on to. Charizard's going to throw a Dragon Claw at us here. It's not going to take us out. Like, Dragon Claw, very super effective, and in a long drawn out matchup with Giratina, they can add up and stuff. But just one isn't really something to worry about too much. In fact, we're going to go for the Dragon Breath down, which we do get, very nice, and then we're going to actually throw the Psyshock at the Venusaur, just to keep it a little bit spicy, and we're going to take that win. GG. I was a little bit worried about us getting Vine Whip down if we tried to just incinerate the Venusaur down, so definitely just worth the move. Like, we're not here to flex or anything, let's just take them out. Toxicroak lead. Again, bit of a mixed bag, because you're resisting the counters, but the Mud Bombs are going to hit you for super effective damage. Your Psyshocks are going to one-shot them, like, there's double super effective, you know, like Toxicroak does not want to see psychic damage. So we're just going to go for it because we feel like they'll probably shield anyway, so, but also we just want to be throwing it because if they don't shield, for some reason, if they call that bait, we want to take them out. So a double Psy Shock, and we get an Incinerate through when they throw. Absolutely fantastic. Going to shield this up. It is the Mud Bomb. Right, they swap out into Tapu Fini. And we're going to do the same that we've done before. Throw a Psy Shock, get some chip damage in there, and then swap into our Tapu Fini because we can survive a Moonblast. They can no longer survive a Moonblast, and we can actually overcharge a little bit, quite much with a little bit of energy, potentially get to a Surf against the Toxicroak. So shouldn't be looking too bad. Got to throw in a second though before they get to another Surf. It's fine. Take them out. Does the Toxicroak come in? It does not. Feraligatr comes in and is going to farm us down. This is scary, right? Because it might have Ice Beam, might have Crunch, which the Giratina's not going to want to see. Hydro Cannon's going to take out the Armarouge. So we might lose this matchup. I don't know how hard an Ice Beam or a Crunch land on Giratina, which is the Crunch, does a huge chunk of damage. That is a big yikes. Okay, we need... Okay. Yeah, now we lose this game unless for some reason we get this through. We do. We get to throw first. Didn't realise Armarouge won CMP tie. Against Feraligatr. That's great. We take them out. Can we survive against the Toxicroak? No. 1 HP and a Dream on the Toxicroak. GG's. Still, good game overall with the opponent. And that's going to give us a 3 out of 5 set with Armarouge, which is better than I expected to perform with it. We've got another set with it. That I think goes pretty well actually, this next set of battles with Armarouge. So we're just going to jump straight on into it, and we've got Virizion on the lead. Perfect. Resist the fighting moves, we got Incinerate. They swap into Suicune running Snarl, which obviously gets to Scald pretty quickly. I misjudge how quickly, and I have to shield up here. And then we're just going to swap straight out into Tapu Fini because Giratina and Armarouge have got good matchups against Virizion, and the main thing here is we're not too bothered about switch advantage, but we just don't want to get Tapu Fini caught up in that matchup, really. So we're just going to bring it in here, throw the Moonblast, which we do get through, very, very nice. And we're just not going to shield these moves up. What can Suicune learn? It learns Hydro Pump, Scald, it learns Ice Beam. So not really any charge moves we need to worry about. We're just going to Water Gun them down here from this point and just have energy to throw. Like we might have a Moonblast. Yeah, we'll have a Moonblast to throw at the Virizion if it does come in and decides to take us out. They'll struggle to farm us down because we are resisting that double kick anyway. So yeah, they are going to have to like commit to throwing a charge move here or risk us getting to more than one Moonblast. So throw the Moonblast, nice big damage there. So we are down a shield, but we've got a big health advantage at this point and we've got switch advantage. So as long as they're not something strong against Giratina in the back, which is a Feraligatr. So we throw the Psy Shock, do they let it through? They do, okay. Do we go ahead and throw... I'm not sure why we threw an extra Incinerate. I'd have been tempted there just to throw the Psy Shock straight away and then swap to Giratina, but I think we're a bit worried about Giratina getting two-shot again, so we're just going to go for Psy Shocks actually. Force the shields out of him, that works. Like, we don't need Armarouge lined up with Giratina, sorry, with Virizion, I suppose, because Giratina does fine. We are going to end up swapping out eventually, and what are they going to throw at us? Ice Beam, okay? Again, 2 Ice Beams will take us out if they do get 2 off, so go ahead and throw the Dragon Claw, finish them off. And Virizion's kind of stuck for options here. They are getting low on health. The Dragon Claw would finish them off. They're not going to get to the stone edges required to take both out, Giratina and Armarouge. Okay, next one, another Ampharos lead. Ampharos leads are quite common. I guess it's just because of all the Poliwraths and the Tapu Finis and the Feraligatrs, and you know, there's a lot of water types and some flying types that are quite popular at the minute, and then the Brutal Swing coverage is very, very nice. Like, don't sleep on Ampharos in the Ultra League. It is a very strong Pokemon and worth using some situations for sure. Like, some teams really, really benefit from it. We're going to go for double Psy Shock. We're going to let the first one through. They do not. Are they going to let the second one through? We might be playing a weird game here. We'll build up a lot of energy, but throw off the Psy Shock. Now we're going to dip out to Tapu. Is this a Brutal Swing that we've just caught? Because if it is, that's kind of cheeky. It is a Brutal Swing. Very, very nice. And they're going to dip out into Cresselia because their Ampharos was starting to get pretty low. And this works out pretty well. So they're going to throw a Grass Knot. So, does this Cresselia run Future Sight or Moonblast? Because there's a strong argument to make, honestly, with Cresselias in Ultra League now to run Future Sight, just so things like Charizard don't wall you, things like Ceruledge, so they're basically the fire types. Because if you're in grass, not a Moonblast, fire types are actually a pretty big problem for you. We're going to bring in Giratina here rather than Armarouge, preserve that health because we are a bit conscious of a potential Future Sight, and there it is, Future Sight. So, made a good call there. Ampharos comes in, they would have made it to a Brutal Swing, so it's worth throwing the Dragon Claw just to finish them off quickly. And what are they going to bring in? The Cresselia is going to come back in, that's fine. We're just going to build up the extra energy, and we're going to try and take them out before they throw this move at us, just to preserve that health. We do just Frisian in the back, we can get to this move on Armarouge. Psyshock, I believe I think it's 5 damage more than Flame Charge, so if you're going to throw one or the other for raw damage, Psyshock's slightly better, but of course, Flame Charge will buff any future Incinerates that you throw in, so bit of a trade-off. Like if you're planning on staying in after throwing the Psyshock and the Incinerates are good damage against whether, you know, they're not resisting the fire, then it might be worth throwing Flame Charge instead anyway, just for the buffed Incinerate damage. Another Ampharos lead, this one's Purified, but I somehow doubt it's going to throw a return at us, but still, if it's Brutal Swing, we do need to shield up, and we're just going to throw here. The main problem with the Ampharos Armarouge matchup, and the same with any Incinerate user, is that they're just slightly faster than you. So they can throw a whole Volt Switch and then throw the charge move and you only get the one fast move through. If you throw a charge move, you're basically giving them a whole, oh, we've let a lot of energy go there. That is going to take us out. That is a big misjudgment on our part. We definitely thought we had one more Volt Switch worth of energy away from that Brutal Swing on them. So we lost nearly 2 whole Psyshocks there, which is pretty hard to come back from. So unless they're super weak to Tapu Fini and Giratina in the back, this could be tough. They do show up the Moonblast as well and Poliwrath, which is super unfortunate. We might survive long enough to get to another Moonblast here. It'll be close. Skull's not going to take us out. Do they get the attack debuff? They don't. They catch on a Talonflame. Rough break. That might give them the win, honestly, in this matchup, because the Poliwrath's nearly got an Ice Wind, which will hit Giratina for pretty big damage. They're going to get a Fly or a Brave Bird through here. It's just the Fly. Throw the Dragon Claw here. I think they don't get a Fly this turn. I think it's the next turn, so yeah, we can farm them down before they throw that. Icy Wind won't quite take us out. They do need 2 charge moves, but also the Tapu Fini solo, it can't really do much work. We get to 2 Dragon Claws though before they throw. They should really have thrown the first Icy Wind that they pretty much had loaded straight away as soon as we come in. We catch on Tapu Fini. This might clutch the game for us, actually. It's going to be very, very close. If we survive this Icy Wind, we are starting to get low, even double resisted counters eventually add up because it's just such a good move. We do survive. We Dragon Breath down, 1 HP. And a Dream on Giratina, and my Giratina is not, well, it's raid IVs. I would say it's not PvP IVs. It's just like, you know, it's above 10 in every stat. I haven't traded my trade for a good altered form Giratina, so I just use what I've got. And obviously, if you do have a PvP IVs one, it's going to be even bulkier than that. So we got Guzzlord on the lead. Tapu Fini walls this thing. Giratina does not, but we brought it in because we wanted them to swap out, to be honest. Guzzlord is a pretty rough matchup, just because it's good against Giratina and it's good against Armarouge. It is a core breaker for us, but there aren't, I haven't seen many of them around at all. They throw a Future Sight on Cresselia at Tapu Fini, and I have absolutely no idea why. We stall them out, we get to swap back into Armarouge. Now we are just wanting to build up extra energy, get this Cresselia out of here, and we're just hoping that Tapu Fini can sweep. We're going to have to let this go. We can't justify the shield when there's a Guzzlord back there that's going to resist everything we can throw. They throw a Future Sight. Doesn't hit as hard as I thought it would, which is kind of nice. This, if it's Crunch, will take us out. Is it the Crunch? It is the Crunch, so might be worth the shield because the switch timer's coming up. We have managed to throw out the switch timers in this game, which is very nice because it means we can throw this move and maybe dip straight away to Tapu Fini. They dip out into a Ceruledge, which they have a shield advantage. So this isn't the dream that we want it to be because Shadow Ball hits quite hard, and if they go for a Disarming Voice next, which they can do after one more Incinerate, it would take us out. So it's whether or not they overcharge, they misjudge our energy. They do have a Disarming Voice loaded before they threw that move. I think they'd thrown 5 or 6 Incinerate, so they should have had the move. But that is probably going to give us the win unless we can't survive one. Did they get a move against Armarouge? They don't. We take them out. Very close game. Because I'm pretty sure with that last Dragon Claw, Dragon Tail that Guzzlord was throwing there, they got 2 move loaded as well. So GG's to the opponent. We got Annihilate on the lead this game. Great for us. I mean, obviously having to shield up Shadow Balls is a bit of a pain, but a lot of things have to shield Shadow Ball from Annihilate. You know what I mean? I wouldn't call it a particular weakness that Armarouge has compared to like other things in the meta. So shield the Shadow Ball, that's very, very nice. We're just going to go for these Side Shocks they catch. On Greninja, that's a nice catch because Greninja is like the perfect answer to Armarouge because you got the Dark type in resisting the Psychic, you got the Water type in resisting the Fire. So not much Armarouge can do at all there. We're just going to bring in Tapu Fini, and I believe this is just to use... Well, we don't want to bring Giratina in really because the Night Slashes add up so fast. They're a bit more comfortable here just because even though they're resisting the Water Guns and resist the Surf, it's just... You're not having to shield, you're not having to worry about shielding, which is one of the more important things in the Ultra League, I think, is shield management. We just make it to a clutch surf against this Nidoqueen that's in the back, and this is looking really good for us because we can just bring in Giratina against Nidoqueen, because Giratina is one of the best answers to Nidoqueen in the Ultra League, you know, because Nidoqueen's entirely based on that poison jab damage, and then, you know, Earth Power is a decent charge move, but it's not super threatening, so you don't have to worry about shielding it. Giratina can take at least 2 of them. So you don't worry about shielding. They swap back out into the Annihilate. Is this a Shadow Ball? We don't know. We gamble. It could be, but it's not. It's an Ice Punch. That's nice. Means we can probably farm down. We're not going to risk it. We just go ahead, throw the Side Shot because we should be able to survive the Poison Jabs from this Nidoqueen. Like, we might take them out if they don't. We shield this up. Of course, we get the Incinerate through. Yeah, we shield this up. And that's going to be a GG. Not going too bad, right? Like, it seems like 5-0. So a 3 out of 5 set and a 5 out of 5 set with Armarouge. And I wasn't expecting this thing to be good. And I'm not saying it's amazing in the Ultra League by any measure, but it's good enough. You can build a team around it. It's like, yeah, Tapu Fini and Giratina are very strong in the Ultra League, but they're not carrying the team. Giratina isn't carrying this team, neither is Tapu Fini. They're all doing their work in it. And I think that's strong praise for for Armarouge. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be able to perform its own part that well. I mean, you're probably still better off with like Ceruledge or Talonflame, I would say maybe, but it's pretty strong on its own, and that Side Shot coverage is nice for surprising some people. Like, we hit the Poliwrath early on with it, which is pretty nice. Now let's take a look at Armarouge as well. Not Armarouge, Ceruledge. I'm going to be mixing these two up, probably for, I don't know, the foreseeable future. I'm mixing these two names up, but we're looking at Ceruledge now. We've got 2 sets of battles running that, and we built a slightly different team around it as well. So jumping into this first matchup, we've got Poliwrath on the lead, which again, for Armarouge, we were looking pretty decent just because, I said decent, like it wasn't looking too bad because we had the Psyshock. Ceruledge has Shadow Ball, which, to go with its Ghost typing, you know, Shadow Ball's a solid move, but Shadow Ball is more energy than Psyshock. And what that means is that you need 1 more Incinerate to throw your second one. So the first Psyshock and first Shadow Ball each time is 3. And then the second Psyshock is 2 Incinerates and the second Shadow Ball is 3. And that is a big difference. You're talking a lot of turns in a battle, and that it makes Ceruledge feel slower. And it's a very small difference, but personally I was feeling it a lot. In a lot of matchups, excuse me, it was that difference of getting to that 1 extra charge move, that putting that extra pressure on, that extra bit of damage, that extra shield, that was really adding up. Now, to pair with Ceruledge, we've actually gone for Guzzlord of our own, which, again, not PvP IVs or anything, it's just a raid IV Guzzlord, and I believe we've also paired it with Cresselia. There was a logic for swapping the team around compared to Armarouge. I think it was just I was looking on PvPoke, which still fantastic resource. If you haven't used it yet for building teams, I recommend checking out PvPoke. They've got fantastic resources. And I was messing around with teams for both of them, And looking at the meta, I can't remember what picks it was in particular, but Cresselia and Guzzlord definitely looked better on paper for backing up for Ceruledge. Sorry. So, we're going to lose this match. We needed to throw a Moonblast at the Ampharos before it dipped to then actually maximise on farming down the Poliwrath. So we've ended up eating an Icy Wind, whereas we should now have had maybe like, we should have already landed a Moonblast and then had like a couple of Grass Knots loaded there to probably finish it off, rather than having to try and land like 3 Moonblasts from there. But anyway, GG's to the opponent. Right, Shadow Sandslash on this lead. Fantastic, because we're running a fire fast move, so they definitely got to dip out of there, otherwise we will ruin their day. Dragonite swaps in. Go for the Shadow Ball. Go hard or go home. This Dragonite's got a shield. It does. We swap out into the Cresselia because we can tank some moves and the Moonblast will definitely ruin their day. Plus, Sandslash on the lead. Alolan Sandslash is a very strong answer to Cresselia. Resists all the charge moves, like no matter what moveset you're running. So we wanted to definitely put the Cresselia to some use, and we come out of the matchup healthy enough where the Sandslash actually throw energy at us. They can't just Shadow Claw us down, which is nice. The Iron Melter Shadow Claw us down from this range though, so we're going to land the Moonblast, and then we can't dip, can we, now? They are going to farm us down. This is kind of scary. We've got shield advantage. So we just bring in Ceruledge. If they throw, this forces an Incinerate through, which will land, which will do big damage to them. It now, like, that Alolan Sandslash is alive, but it's in farm down range. Like, it's only got a handful, like a few HP left, because imagine it's a Shadow Sandslash taking an Incinerate. It's going to ruin its day. Now, Guzzlord v Tapu Fini is awful. And you might think, well, that's it, you've lost the game. Surely it's like, well, we just bluffed Sludge Bomb twice. So, maybe there's hope in this game. We're just going for the Crunchers. Definitely want to go for Crunch over Dragon Claw because Crunch is single resisted, Dragon Claw is double resisted. But we built up extra energy before throwing just to pretend that we might have had a Sludge Bomb. So we get the shields, and now it's, can this Shadow Ball take them out? And then can we Incinerate down the Sandslash before the Shadow Claws take us out? It is going to be close. The Sandslash's energy. So, 1 HP on both of us here. Yeah, I'm going to take an L there. So, rough start. 2 matches down and 2 losses with Ceruledge. Both reasonably close games, but still. Dragonite lead. Swap to Cresselia. Cresselia tends to be a bit of a safe swap in the Ultra League in general. Like, Guzzlord is so heavily walled by like Charmers and stuff like that. See what they want to do. They're stopping in, so we're just going to go for the Moonblast. Like, give us a shield then if you're going to actually stop in this matchup. They do shield it up. They're going to go for another charge move here. We might as well shield this up. Yeah. I wonder if they're weak. They must be like weak to Cresselia. Or they must have a good answer to Ceruledge in the back, I suppose. They might have a water type. They might have like Poliwrath or Swampert or Feraligatr and you know, there's a wide choice of water types, I guess, in this league. So they're going to take us out. We're bringing Guzzlord. We're going to take our shield advantage and just go for an aggressive farm down. We're actually going to give up the shield advantage. So this is a pretty iffy situation. Shadow Dragonite, such a pain in the ass. Right, Poliwrath comes in and we're going to eat a Scold, I suppose. Maybe we should have just thrown Dragon Claw. I don't know. Tough position this. The Dragonite really ran through us. We survived the Scold. We're going to get a Shadow Ball off. This isn't going to take them out. Almost certainly not anyway. But it will get them low into single Dragon Claw range. So we throw one more tail. Throw the Claw. Is whatever's in the back weak to Guzzlord is the answer. It doesn't seem likely because the way they pivoted out. But it's a Jellicent. We actually might win this game. We should be able to survive either a Surf or a Shadow Ball, and that should give us the time to get to another Crunch. Yeah, we get the Dragon Tail through. This is going to be tight. Surf, they will get to another... Oh, they try and catch. If they'd have successfully caught there, that would actually have saved them the game. But they don't catch, and we just take them out and take the win. GG. The opponent misjudging how much energy we actually needed for the second Crunch by 1 Dragon Tail, and that came in clutch for us. Right, Shadow Ampharos. This matchup plays out similarly, I guess, to the Armarouge matchup, where it's a little bit awkward timing-wise. Thankfully for us, they actually throw 4 Volt Switches, allowing us to throw a charge move on 15 turns, whereas they were going up to 16 turns worth of fast moves, so it's the most optimum moment for us to throw a charge move without them sneaking through too much energy. We dip into Guzzlord because this team is more versatile against Ampharos, because rather than having Tapu Fini in the back as well, both Guzzlord and Cresselia do okay in that matchup. Yeah, the Brutal Swings can add up and whatever, but it's not devastating. So we get a shield advantage. Polybath's here. We can just Psycho Cut down and we'll have shield advantage. So we can just really threaten this Ampharos, because the Incinerators have done quite a big chunk of damage. Tentacruel comes in. I think they think they're catching a Future Sight here, but they're catching a Grass Knot because we don't have Future Sight on our Cresselia. We are not going to shield this up. It's just Brutal Swing. It's fine. We catch on Ceruledge and shield up, so no point catching, I guess. It is Brutal Swing. Found them down. The Tentacruel is going to have to throw energy at us to take us out. We should have thrown that shot up, but we got the shield. Oh, I forget we had another shield. We shouldn't have thrown that. We wanted that extra move through. Go for Shadow Ball. This might go through, it might not. Depends what they think we've got on the Cresselia. They let it through. That's huge, because now throw this Flame Charge, force the last shield. We just need to get to a Grass Knot on Cresselia, and if they don't throw Sun, they'll be at risk of being farmed down as well, because you see one more Incinerate there would have taken them out. So they got to throw, Scald. They're not going to be able to take out the Cresselia as well. We've got the Grass Knot here ready to go, and that's going to give us a good game. So managing to bring back some wins with Ceruledge, and I'm not sure if I'm just not playing it as well as I did with Armarouge, but Venusaur lead, fantastic lead for us, you know, just absolutely amazing. We're going to let this through, doesn't matter what they've got. Frenzy Plant, like Sludge Bomb, we just let it through. Doesn't even do half damage, and the opponent surrenders. So I guess they didn't have a good answer for Ceruledge in the back, or maybe they just knew that they'd been core broken and wanted out. So we get a 3 out of 5, but we don't get the pleasure of seeing what that 5th match actually was. We just got a good lead, and the opponent just was like, no, you know what? I don't want the Flame Blade smoke. I'm out of there. So, GG's, I guess. Gliscor, Shadow Gliscor. Again, we got to worry about them Night Slashers. They're just going to hit. Do we let it through? Do we see how hard it hits? No, shield up. I'm curious what it... Oh, they get the attack buff. That is horrific for us. Okay, throw the Flame Charge, because we want the shield off of them, and they will give us the shield. Swap into Guzzlord, pressure them to swap out and get rid of that attack buff, because those buffed wing attacks will start doing some serious work. Polybath comes in. This obviously is a bad matchup for Guzzlord, but it's worth dragging this thing out. It's worth clearing the debuff on the Gliscor. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world. We're going to get them pretty low with this second Dragon Claw. In fact, we can probably farm them down again with Cresselia. Nope, not quite. I wouldn't be able to farm them down at all. Do we bring in Cresselia though? Yeah, we do, because the Poliwrath had a slight energy lead, and we don't want them to be getting to Scalds against Armarouge. We do kind of still want that shield intact. We don't want the Gliscor to feel super free just to go for Earthquake. So you see what we're doing here? We're building up tons and tons of energy. We're going up to 100. And I think we're going to dip out here. We're going to store all that energy. And we're just thinking it's got a good use in the back. We don't no idea what they've got in the back, but we've got a feeling it's going to work out pretty well. They're going to get some of the Night Slash. This is scary. We should have thrown the Flame Charge. Will it take us out? It doesn't take us out. We finally get to see, and now we throw. So that was a horrific play from me. If we lose this game, it's my bad. Or maybe they've got a hard answer, I don't know, but it's not looking good. Like, we're not going to get to another Flame Charge, are we? Greninja's in the back. Maybe we can win. Maybe storing up all this energy on Cresselia is going to pay off. We should really definitely have taken out the... we should have thrown the Flame Charge on Ceruledge earlier for definite. Night Slash gets us pretty low. They get attacked. This opponent must be absolutely, like, they're living the dream with all these these attack buffs that they were getting from the Night Slashers, but doesn't matter. We'd lost that game whether they buffed or not. So GG's to the opponent. Certainly not saying that I lost from, you know, the attack buff or anything like that. It's just they outplayed me. I made some mistakes, and they got attack buffs to cement the victory as well. So Muck lead. We resist the poison jabs, but the Dark Pulse could potentially do big damage here. So what are they going to throw? They throw the Dark Pulse. Can we farm down here? Is this a Thunder Punch? Do we shield up? It's an Acid Spray. Okay. That's a little bit meh. Jellicent comes in. They're up 2 shields right now, and we tempt them to swap out. That was a risky swap bait there. Swapping in Cresselia into a Jellicent while we're shields down is we were asking for trouble really, but they've got Umbreon in the back. So Guzzlord is looking amazing for closing this game out. And we're just going to play this matchup out. We're going to go for the Moonblast. Like, we can't shield anything up now, so it's just completely at, we're just taking a battering from these dark moves. But Cresselia is pretty bulky, so keep throwing the Moonblast. The Umbreon is going to have to give up a shield. Like, Cresselia in the 0 shield wins this matchup with Moonblast, just because we're just going to take them out, you know what I mean? We do. We take out the Umbreon. They're going for 2 shields on the Jellicent. We're going to swap straight into Guzzlord. We don't want them to get extra energy against Cresselia, and we want to potentially debuff the defense with Crunch. We want to get defense drop just to slightly help out Ceruledge, slightly help out Cresselia if they do get to a Grass Knot or anything like that. The Dragon Tails are really starting to add up, so even if we just land 1 Crunch, we might be able to farm them down. At this point, we're looking very strong actually in this position. We might get a 3-ball flex on the opponent, depending on what they throw here. If this is a Shadow Ball, we might just survive it. If Surf will survive it. Shadow Ball, we just survive it. We get to a Crunch, and we're going to actually take the win. Guzzlord just sweeping up this game. Absolutely running away with it. Like, Guzzlord carried that game, you know? Like, I know I said, like, previously, like, oh, Armarouge wasn't being carried by Tapu and Giratina, but in that game, Guzzlord definitely carried the back half. Right, we got a Charmeleon and Ninetales on the lead. You love to see it because we resist the charms, we're hitting for super effective Incinerate damage. Lantern swaps in, throw a Shadow Ball, nice big chunky damage. That means Cresselia can come in and only has to worry about landing 1 Grass Knot. Because I think Lantern can survive 2 Grass Knots in the Ultra League. I might be wrong on that, but I'm seeing more and more of them pop up at the minute. But I'm pretty sure it does just less than 50% now. I could be wrong about that. But this means Cresselia comes out of this matchup super healthy. Ninetales isn't going to be able to farm us down. They still have to throw energy at us. So we're just going to keep plugging away. Keep throwing the Moonblast. Keep chipping them down because they're pressured to not shield because they know that Ceruledge is back there with all that, with all that Incinerate damage. So do they bother shielding? Do they just commit shields into the last Pokemon? We try and snipe them down with Incinerate, which is a bold move for sure. We don't get it. Greedent comes in. Do we shield this up? It's Crunch. It doesn't quite take us out. That was I suppose a bit of Body Slam bait I'd have felt pretty bad. So nice to survive the Crunch and still get the Flame Charge, get the shield out of him. And then Guzzlord comes in, the opponent realises and surrenders. So far I'd said this has been more about the team comp than it has been about Ceruledge in particular, being particularly strong. But another Gliscor lead. Again, I think the game is just out to try and punish me a little bit. Do we shield this up? Yeah, we do. I think with it being a non-shadow Gliscor, maybe we shouldn't have shielded it up. We should have just let it go through because I think we'd have survived it fairly comfortably. Wouldn't have been at risk of being wing attacked down unless they got the buff. So, shield this up, I guess. We've got another Flame Charge loaded. This isn't going to... I think we're going to lose this matchup. I think we're just going to commit to stay in and soft lose. Maybe? They shield? No, they let it go. Okay, so they're taking shield advantage. And there's for Alligator. Go for the Shadow Ball. Yeah, we're buffed. This will almost certainly get a shield out of him. It does. Swap straight to Cresselia. Because yeah, we're taking super effective Shadow Claw damage. But we're bulky. We can take a Hydro Cannon. In fact, we can take 2. So we can definitely force our way to a Grass Knot to take them out if they do stop in. They swap out into Tentacruel, and right now we're missing having Future Sight on this thing because Future Sight shields down Tentacruel would be laughing. But doesn't matter. We're just going to stop in here, take a Scald. Do we get the attack drop? We do. That's a bit of a shame. Just keep going. Keep throwing the Grass Knots. Like, they're going to have to throw again probably, or we might still be able to get to enough Grass Knots to take them out. Maybe not. That attack debuff is pretty punishing on the Scald. Can we make it? We swap out into Ceruledge. I think we're tempting them to throw here, and they don't. They know their count. Somehow, well, I say somehow they know. Maybe they just were guessing that we wouldn't have made it to another move. Bring in Cresselia, let them throw the energy, and then we're just going to bring in Guzzlord, fast move them down, and this is risky because now let's say they throw Acid Spray, which they do, and now let's say that the Feraligatr throws Ice Beam at us, which it might do. This is Shadow, and Feraligatr's attack weighted. Is it Ice Beam? It is Ice Beam. Yeah, one shot. Boom. We made a bit of a misjudgment in how we played that out. Like, letting the Tentacruel get all that energy from the from farming down Ceruledge was quite devastating. We figured it'd make them throw, but sometimes that kind of play backfires, and it did for us there. Right, next game. What do we got? Poliwrath, Shadow Poliwrath on the lead. Again, not as ideal as this would be with Armarouge because we get to the Psyshocks a little bit faster. We're just going to go for Flame Charge. We figure they're going to shield the Shadow. They probably don't know how hard we're going to hit or what we've got. So we get the shield. Very nice. This saves us a little bit of energy towards getting to the next Shadow Ball, but I don't think it makes it any... Yeah, it's still 3 to get there. So, to come with Greedent, we just throw Flame Charge. Again, big. Not as big damage as I thought it would be, actually, but swap to Guzzlord because it's nice relentless Dragon Tail damage. We don't have to worry about like crunches and getting like debuffs and stuff like. Yeah, they've got Body Slam, it is neutral, it is a good move, but it's not going to be enough to flip this stat difference and health advantage that we had. So, eat the Body Slam, that's fine. They throw another Body Slam, we can survive this, it's fine. We're still not at risk of being farmed down because they are running Mud Shot as their fast move, which does basically nothing to something with the HP pool that Guzzlord has. Throw a Dragon Claw, farm them down. We've still got some energy left to dump into whatever comes in. Poliwrath, that's fine. They don't get much farm here, which is nice for us. And we can bring in Cresselia. Like, we don't need to worry about them getting to like extra Scalds because of the energy advantage here. We can just come in with Cresselia and absorb this energy. What's in the back? Giratina with Shadow Claw. Absolutely awful. So Guzzlord would have been very nice to have here in the back. Ceruledge really didn't have much place to go in this game because with the Greedent, we were worried about crunches. Maybe that was the matchup to stay in though. We hoped that with a bait from the Flame Charge, we might get to a Shadow Ball. We don't, we get farmed down, and we're just going to be eating these charge moves. Unless this Giratina doesn't have Shadow Sneak or Shadow Force, which it doesn't. But we need to get to 2 Moonblasts, and I think we need to move against the Poliwrath. So this might just be a bit too big of a hill to overcome. We shall see. No Protect Shields. What's going to happen? Is it the Dragon Claw? It does. We're getting pretty low at this point. I don't even think we can survive the counters to get to a Grass Knot, actually. Even if the Poliwrath doesn't have the energy, it's going to be close, but it's Shadow. Yeah, they're going to punch us down, and we're going to take an L there. So, GG's to the opponent, and a 2 out of 5 set there. So, like I said, nowhere near a strong performance with Ceruledge compared to Armarouge, and I would say that we got some harsher matchups, and you could argue that it's about the rest of the team and how balanced the teammates were to go with them. But personally, I think it makes a huge difference, that little bit of energy cost between Psyshock and Shadow Ball. I think it makes a difference of making Armarouge better. Honestly, it feels better to play. It feels like you're playing like Talonflame or like you're playing Ceruledge, because again, you're playing Talonflame with Fly. You're 3 incinerates to get to Fly, and then it's 2 again, and then it's 2 again. And is it 2 again? I don't know. It's 3 and then it's 2 anyway to get to your Flies with Talonflame. And making it 3 incinerates each time, that's 30 moves. You know, 6 incinerates is 30 turns in a battle, and a lot of opponents can do a lot with 30 turns. Like, there's a lot of energy there, there's a lot of potential damage there. Coming through, and the difference between 25 moves and 30 moves to get 2 charge moves off of your own is quite big, especially against, like I said, picks like Poliwrath, where they're going to be getting to Scalds and threatening you. It can make a big difference against even like other water types. It makes a big difference in like the Feraligatr matchup, because you're either throwing Flame Charges or, you know, you're throwing Shadow Ball, which is extra energy and too slow, and they're getting to super fast Hydro Cannons. Personally, if you're building one right now, I think Armarouge is the way to go. Not just because I had, you know, like a better 2 sets. It's not really like empirical evidence that it's stronger because I happen to have better matchups or anything like that. But it just seems to perform better. I don't know if there's a big stat difference between the two, but Armarouge felt stronger in general. So, if you're building one, Armarouge is my recommendation. I do recommend that team with the Tapu Fini and Giratina. Like I said, dark types on the lead can be a bit of a core breaker, but there aren't many dark types turning up in leads. At least not that I'm seeing. Like, I mean, like I said, I saw a lot of Ampharos, seeing like Poliwrath, seeing Gliscors, but not really seeing dark types like Umbreon and like your... I mean, we're not really seeing much of Obstagoon and Scrafty anymore anyway. Like Poliwrath and Annihilate have all but removed those from... They're not removed from the meta. They're still strong. They're still very strong, but they're just not getting used. And that's mainly what you got to take into account. It's not just like it's all fine. You know, you might think I built an amazing team, but they all lose to Empoleon. But it's like, if there aren't many Empoleons, it doesn't matter that your whole team loses to Empoleon, you know? And like that one person you're into that's running Empoleon, they get to have a party, they get to run through your team. It's great, but if your team does well against everyone else that you're matching up with, that's fine. Like, yeah, some games you're gonna have hard losses, but I'm rambling a bit now anyway. Let me know what you guys think about Armarouge and Ceruledge. Have you tried building them yourself? Have you tried running them? Do you think that maybe I'm a scrub? Maybe I just don't know what I'm doing with those Pokemon. Let me know what you guys think. If you've got a preference down below. Like, I think personally Ceruledge looks cooler. I wish it was stronger because it's a badass. It almost looks like a Digimon rather than a Pokemon. It's got that kind of hardcore kind of edge to it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching this far. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys next time. Probably get some Spring Cup videos coming out soon, actually. Yeah, so see you then.